Hey, welcome back to the Only Chip in the Cookie podcast. Larry from Iowa here. First and foremost, thank you to all of the listeners. Really appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in every single week or every other week to stream the podcast. Your support means a lot to me. I just wanted to remind you guys that we now have a Patreon account, which you should definitely take advantage of if you want to deepen the conversation a little bit further. It's an opportunity to get a little bit more real and a little bit more personal with some of the topics that we talk about on the show. In fact, this episode featuring Project Onyx, you're definitely going to want to check out the content that we have on our Patreon account. Also, hey, if you're from Des Moines, like my sweatshirt, go to neighborhoodtwit.com for more Des Moines inspired apparel. You know, I got to represent all my folks that know what it means to scoop the loop. So check us out there. Anyway, without further ado, here we go into this week's episode. All right, folks, and we're back. The Only Chip in the Cookie podcast. And today, you guys, I'm uber excited to introduce you guys to a couple of brothers that are really making a difference, really making an impact in my state and in my town of Des Moines. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce you guys to the brothers of Project Onyx.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey.
Hey.
And I'm going to have you guys introduce yourselves individually here. So Elijah, we'll start with you, man.
Yeah, man. My name's Elijah Muhammad. I'm a strength and conditioning coach, owner of Unorthodox Fitness in Grimes, Iowa. Father of four, husband, and been doing CrossFit for pretty much 10 years. Graduated with my degree in exercise science and interdisciplinary studies from Tennessee Tech University, and just on the board with Patrick, just trying to help our community out and grow with Project Onyx.
Nice, man. And we're gonna talk about this CrossFit stuff later because I'm seeing all kinds of magic happening on your Instagram, and that's some crazy stuff. So yeah. Hey, Patrick, tell us about yourself, man.
Yeah, my name is Patrick Ford. I live in Bondurant, Iowa with my wife and our 15-month-old daughter. I'm originally from the suburbs of Chicago and then moved out to Ames, Iowa, got my degree in kinesiology from Iowa State in 2015. And then I went out to Creighton University, got my doctor of physical therapy degree. So now I'm just practicing as a PT. I do quite a bit of kind of less common injury rehab as well as sport specific rehab and conditioning type stuff. And yeah, me and Easy are kind of the co-founder, co-directors of what's going on at Project Onyx as we get everything started right now. And it's been a good and welcoming change for our lives. So yeah, we're super excited about it.
Awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to jumping in a little bit here to talk more about Project Onyx in this special project. So I want to just explain to the viewers and the listeners exactly how I found you guys and why you're on the podcast and just why I'm so excited. So I was scrolling through Instagram one day and I see this athlete and he has a Black Lives Matter shirt on. He says in the caption, thanks for the shirt at Elijah Muhammad. And I'm thinking some NOI stuff. Like what? Elijah Muhammad makes Black Lives Matter shirts. Like what's going on? So curiosity led me to click, your name, Elijah. And, then I see this guy, lifting crazy weights on the what's it called, the barbells and stuff like that, and swinging on rings and just doing all these amazing things. And I look in the bio and it says that your gym is in Grimes, Iowa. So dude, mind blown. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's somebody that
has these kinds of connections and this type of athletic, prowess, basically in my backyard. And so, I reached out, made an introduction. I said, please, 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 please be on my podcast. And I'm just so grateful that you obliged. And it was also an opportunity to not only meet yourself, but to meet Patrick as well. So I'm really, really glad to have you guys on the show. And just thank you guys.
Yes, man. We appreciate
no problem.
cool
For
because
sure.
those Black Lives Matter shirts, man. People were the support was awesome. So it's funny that that's how we connected. But like when we sat down, we were trying to figure out, like, I said to my wife, like, I got to do something. Like, what can I do? Like I got to figure this out. It's just like, I want to show my support. And she was just like, oh, you sell merch. So make a shirt. And I was like, yeah, I should make a shirt. And we came up with so many different ideas, and nothing felt right. And then the more I sat and thought about Black Lives Matter, the more I was just like, yes, they do. Like, yeah.
Word.
Like, it's as simple as that. Don't take it out of context. Don't think too in deep about it. Don't think about the organization. Don't think about the movement. Just think about the words itself. Black Lives Matter. Say yes or no. If they do, get the shirt. And so we just thought we would just make the shirt, and we got a lot of support from the community and a lot of people. So that was pretty cool that you found me through that.
Yeah.
A lot of people support.
Absolutely, my brother. So, so both of you guys, neither one of you guys are originally from Iowa. And, I was actually born in Japan, but I was raised in Iowa. And anytime I see, a Black person roaming the streets, that's not from here, the first thing that pops into my head is, what was it, or what was the reason, or what was the motivation to move from wherever you're from, to a state that has a less than 4% Black population? So Patrick, you had mentioned that you're from outside of Chicago, man. So what brought you to the Great Corn State?
So as far as coming here, I was always interested in coming to Iowa State. My brother attended school before me, so I had some exposure to Iowa State. It's cheaper to go out of state than in state, and I actually was slated to get into architecture at that time. And they have a really good design school up at Iowa State. Unfortunately, I was smart enough to make the change early before I even started school there. But as far as like recognizing the difference in culture, where I grew up was predominantly white area, pretty affluent suburb of Chicago. Even my high school's nickname was White Castle. So I was used to it. Like that's what I grew up around. All my friends were white. We had some Black kids, but the people I grew up with were all white. The family I was raised by was on my mom's side, which is all white. So it wasn't any different for me to be around that type of kind of racial makeup. So coming to Iowa wasn't a big change as far as that stuff. Just culturally, like being in the suburbs of Chicago and having so many people, then you kind of go to the middle of nowhere, Iowa, where everybody's just talking about farming and 4-H and all this stuff that you never heard of before. Was a culture change, but it wasn't any different for me compared to where I grew up.
Yeah. Tell me about yourself, Elijah. So where are you from again, and how the heck did you end up here in Iowa, man?
Yeah, man. Originally from Columbus, Ohio. Unlike Patrick, I was raised with nothing but Black people. There was no white people in sight around me except for like my teachers at school. You know what I'm saying? Like, basically, once I graduated from high school, I was like, I gotta get out. I gotta get as far away from here as possible. And at first it was just for a little bit. It was just like, I just need to get out. It ended up being, longer duration, but I moved to Chicago. Same thing, predominantly Black school at a junior college, all black athletes. Like I said, the only thing white was the teachers and, a couple of players here and there. After that, I went to Tennessee Tech. And it's in Cookeville, Tennessee. And that was the initial just blow, like, okay, what did I just do? Like, why just come here? Because I think it was uncomfortable, but it was much needed for my journey, what I was wanting to become or what I was going to become as a man. So went to Tennessee Tech. That was the initial culture shock. And then as I got into CrossFit is a predominantly white sport. So from there, I moved around a lot, but I was always kind of in a predominantly white space. So moved to Alabama. And then after Alabama, moved to Nevada. We have 4 kids now, me and my wife. And we were just like, what are we doing here? I want my kids to be around their grandma, their aunts, their uncles, see them regularly, interact with them, can call on them when they need them. So my wife's mother lived in Iowa. Her mother had bought a house here, so I just kind of figured she was settling. So I just kind of was like, let's just move to where your mom's at. The only reason why we came to Iowa was to be around family.
Yeah.
Other than that, Iowa was never on the radar. I actually did not know exactly where Iowa was on the map until we thought about moving here.
You thought Iowa was the potato state.
Man,
That's like that's a big thing. A lot of people will confuse Iowa with Idaho. Anything shock you about Iowa when you came here, or is it a lot like back home, or what?
Some things. I mean, you'll know, like what I've noticed with a lot of Iowans, and I don't want to pigeonhole people because I've met a lot of great people in this state. Some people that are going to be my friends forever and all that, but what I've noticed is that Iowans that are true to Iowa and stay here like to keep things the way that is comfortable for them. They're not big advocates for change. Iowans are generally super nice, in my opinion. But if it disturbs the norm or the expected, cultural norm, then they can band together real quick about that stuff. So that was probably the biggest thing, is like just not being accepting of change versus me. Like I went to Iowa, I moved out to Omaha. My family, I have some family in Portland now. Like I was kind of just used to, like, you just go with the flow of your life and you kind of let it take you where it goes. But it's like, we like life to stay here.
Yep.
The second there's a little bump, then it's like everything gets messed up. So
So tell me, so you mentioned that you are a strength and conditioning coach. How did you get into that profession?
I graduated from college. My strength coach at Tennessee Tech University was like, hey man, you should do CrossFit, and I think you'll be really good at it. You should try it out. So basically he gave me this, like, hey, if you do CrossFit and compete on my team, I'll hire you as a strength coach. That's how I got into CrossFit, and basically I just kept the title of strength and conditioning coach rather than saying I'm a CrossFit coach, which is a strength and conditioning coach.
Now, and Patrick, I know for a fact there are not a lot of black physical therapists out there. A lot of times you are the only chip in the cookie.
Yeah. So as far as getting into physical therapy, I'd gone through a bunch of injuries like any athlete growing up, and I had gone through physical therapy. But for me, it wasn't working, actually. My knees weren't getting any better. I would just keep running and kind of deal with it. And I kind of just had a little bit of, I guess, hubris and ego. And I just told myself, yeah, I could probably do this better than who's treating me right now.
Like it.
It's like, I think this can work. Like, this seems like the right thing I'm supposed to do, but for some reason it's not working, and I'm not going to get surgery for this thing. As well as, not having a lot of money growing up, you're like, I can't get surgery. Like, how's my mom going to pay for this? Like, that's not going to happen. So I just had to keep just fighting through the pain. And then once I kind of decided that I didn't want to pursue my original interests of design and architecture and all that stuff, my second option was rehab and exercise. So I kind of deviated toward athletic training, but it still just didn't feel like the avenue for me. So I started looking more into physical therapy, and then just started kind of kicking off that process.
Yeah.
So I've searched across Iowa as much as I could handle that search, but with everyone, it just came back with nothing. And right now, from my understanding, is I'm literally the only chip in the cookie.
Yeah.
If somebody's listening to this and you're a PT and you live in Iowa, get in contact with me.
How did you guys meet? And then tell me about Project Onyx and how it was formed and exactly what it is. I'm really excited to hear this story.
I like telling the story. I could tell it easy.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I moved into Ankeny 2018. Moved into a townhouse complex, and just hanging out on our balcony, and I saw some dude walking around, shirt off, and he was just ripped. And I was like, oh, this has got to be like an Iowa State basketball or football athlete. And I told my wife, I was like, there's some jacked black dude out here.
Look away, honey.
Actually a funny sub story of this. Easy. So I told my wife, there's a jacked black guy out there. And she's like, I don't see him. And yeah, I was like, yeah, he's like right outside. And she was like thinking that I said Jack Black, like the actor Jack Black. So you're walking around and she's like, there's no dude that looks like Jack Black outside. So anyways, I'm hanging out. I'm going around our neighborhood, kind of, I think I was doing a workout or something. And on the pavement of the driveway, I saw this big placemat. It said Elijah Muhammad on it. And I was like, I know that name because I seen him in the CrossFit games. And I was like, there's no way Elijah Muhammad lives around the block from me. Because like at that time you were 16th fittest. I think that was like in between you going.
Yeah,
you had a few.
I went 17. That mat was from 15. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw it and I was like, yeah, it's got to be Elijah Muhammad. And so I went back home and I told my wife, I was like, this dude, he's one of the most fittest people in the world. And he lives right around the block from us. So I told her, I'm going to be friends with him. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but one day I'm going to be friends with him. So a couple times I had just, we waved hi and kind of did that, black guy recognizing another black guy in the neighborhood type thing.
Yeah.
And
but real quick, I'm glad y'all acknowledged that because I'm 35 years old, man, and I know I'm older than you guys, but a lot of these brothers out here aren't doing the nod anymore. I'm like, damn, y'all that comfortable? Y'all ain't even doing the nod anymore?
Listen, I said I'm about to just start shaking hands and hugging black people when I see them. I see a black dude at the gas station, I'm just gonna walk up to him. You know what I'm saying? Boom, embrace him, be like, hey, yo,
dude, that's
here,
so
bro.
funny because I dropped off my daughter this morning at daycare, and one of the daycare providers, she's mixed too, and she has a black son. But I saw a black dad dropping off his kid, and I was like, I don't know if I want to walk in my car, if I just want to go start talking to this guy because like I haven't seen anybody else here. Oh man, that was so funny because I was literally just thinking that same thing. Like, but is he going to be cool because I'm not wearing my mask or what? So I had to like go through that whole thing. But anyways, Elijah does some online programming. So I purchased one of his programs and kind of did some workouts from his programming. So we had a little bit more conversation there, but not a lot. And after the George Floyd murder, I really started thinking about like stuff that I needed to do. Felt a lot of guilt about not being more active in these types of social activist activities, and did all that research I was talking about earlier, and I came up with the idea to basically eliminate racial health disparities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I reached out to Elijah and I said, hey, dude, I got this plan. I got this idea. I don't really know where it's going to go, but are you willing to talk to me about it? And he got back to me like 5 minutes later, and he's like, yep, I'm in my garage. Come talk to me. So I went over to his place, like on the spot. I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to talk to Elijah. And we had talked for 2 or 3 hours for our first conversation. And we just talked about what we were feeling and how it's affecting us, and how we both kind of shared a similar sense of guilt. He was actually printing those Black Lives Matter shirts that you were talking about
Okay.
when we were doing this. So yeah, we just kind of kicked it off, and he was totally bought in, and I've appreciated him helping me out and being my partner with this project. So
Nice.
After Pat came to me about Project Onyx, I was just kind of like, man, I'm everywhere, dude. Like I'm moving in so many directions, trying to keep up with what I got going on myself. So I was kind of like, I'm game. I got a facility. You got the idea. Let's bounce ideas back and forth so we can like come up with what we are going to do. And as far as like the logistics, I mean, like I can help with that, but it's like you got to just keep your pedal, your foot on the gas pedal, man. And that's exactly what he did, man. He was texting me like every day. What do you think about this? Calling me, hey, I got this idea, or should we do this? And I'm like, yo, let's do that. Let's do this. That sounds good. That idea I'm rolling with, like, and basically, once we got the program started, I was like, or not started, but about to like kind of launch. My idea was like, okay, we don't have everything in place, but we can't keep putting it off and putting it off until everything's ideally in our mind perfect. I was like, let's just get it out. Like, let's just get it out, and then we'll kind of groom it and grow and alter it and whatever we need to do to formulate what Project Onyx is as we go. So I told him, like, you get that stuff done. I'll get the kids. Like, I'll find the kids and get all the kids. And I just told him, I was like, objectively, I want to teach these kids, about fitness, about working out, about training, how to program the muscles of the body and the movement. I'm like, you're a PT, so structurally, like what the body is supposed to do and how it's supposed to function and how to repair, as far as building it and getting it fit and stronger and just keeping it healthy. I know all the modalities and how to program those things so that they can be fit. But all in all, we were just like, man, we want to give these kids more. And so Project Onyx was basically like a way that we can outreach, grab kids, not only give them the physical aspect, but the knowledge and then the representation and fields or things that we can do. And then the connections that we have that we can now assist to give the kids, and just encouraging them that. So that's what Project Onyx is pretty much about. And like I said, man, it's right now we're a month in, and we've been having a blast, man.
Yeah. And I had an amazing opportunity to stop by the gym for a few minutes, and I think I saw maybe around like 12 black kids or so. What were their age ranges? Were they high school kids?
13. There are 13 to about, I think the oldest is 19.
Yeah.
Or 18, and a few that are 20, 21, but they're actually members at my gym that assist with Project Onyx. They're looking to get into the internship program, the empowerment program of Project Onyx, to kind of work with the kids and assist and help with them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, these guys, they were doing some heavy lifting. And I mean, these kids you guys must be doing a good job with these kids, because these kids were jacked. They were all super strong, and they were working really hard. And I didn't see anybody complaining or anybody like slacking off. And I mean, it was a sight to see. And I love this program. I love that it's not only just kind of focusing on that physical strength, but also focusing on that mental strength too. when I visited the gym, you guys were just wrapping up a conversation, and I noticed on the whiteboard there were a couple of topics that you guys were talking about, and one of the topics was anti-racism. Um, Talk to me a little bit about that particular experience, and what is it like talking to a group of Black teens about anti-racism?
Yeah. First of all, like hats off to these kids, because every time we come up with one of these kind of discussion points, and we lead every session with some discussion, they're like fully engaged. They participate and they really challenge themselves mentally to really challenge what they believe and what's true for them, and they're honest with us about it, which has been really good. Me and Elijah would share it too. And that day we talked about how we can educate our communities to be anti-racist, and they what's so important to me, at least, is that I don't have all the answers, and to get to the perspective of kids who are going to go through these situations probably more intensely than I was, honestly, because it wasn't getting as much attention when I was young. Their perspective is just extremely valid, and I'm going to learn a lot from what they tell me. But we're just kind of gauging where they're at with their thought process and how they feel like things like this would affect them the most. And a lot of the guys just talked about, if you are experiencing something that is racist or somebody close to you is, you have to intervene immediately, and you have to show other people that that's what you're about. Like, you are an ally.
Yeah.
And you're creating a culture where we're inclusive, and that we celebrate diversity, and that we're trying to get rid of racist policy.
Yeah.
So we had a good discussion and tried to open up their minds to our perspective too. And we had mentioned, like, not all Black people are anti-racist, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, just because you're Black doesn't make you anti-racist.
Huge.
Right? And I've experienced this. Like, I say it because I was that person. I wasn't, trying to challenge stereotypes that people had, or prejudices that they might have. Even times when people were just explicitly racist with me, there's sometimes when you kind of just walk away, and maybe that's the right decision for a lot of times too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important for other people around those situations that are witnessing it at the same time. They need to see the person that's standing up for those things.
I think that is, I'll say it again. It's just so impactful that you guys are working to strengthen, condition not only their bodies but their minds and their hearts as well. So, I love it. So why don't you guys tell me, where we can learn more about Project Onyx, and how we can support the program. I know you guys have T-shirts and things like that the proceeds go to benefit the program. So, spill the deets. How can we find you guys? How can kids sign up? How can we buy shirts? All that.
So basically, right now you can go on my website, letter E, letter Z, Muhammad, MUHAMMAD.com, to purchase shirts for Project Onyx. Those funds will go to Project Onyx. And then my gym is in Grimes, Iowa. It's right off of Interstate 141. So if Project Onyx is something that you know someone, or you have a kid that would like to be involved, you can go to Unorthodox Fitness on Facebook or Instagram. And once you see that, you'll get our address. Just come by the facility at a class time that we have. Project Onyx is hosted on Tuesdays and Saturdays. At Tuesdays, it's at 4 p.m. On Saturdays, it's at 10:45 a.m. And you can just literally come by, drop in, make sure you're with your parents. We'll have you fill out some paperwork. We'll introduce you to the group, and you'll just fit right in with us. Other than that, you can contact Patrick through his Instagram or his social media, which he'll give you that. And you can contact me through my social media, which is Elijah Easy, letter EZ Muhammad. And you can just kind of reach out to us, message us, and we can get you more information on how to donate. We have a GoFundMe on the Project Onyx DSM.com. That's our website, where you can go there, get more information. You can get more information about me and Patrick. The website is under construction still right now, but soon will be updated and finalized. We also have a GoFundMe tab that you can click on and donate to our GoFundMe to help support Project Onyx and our kids.
Perfect.
Yep, all those links are on our Project Onyx DSM Instagram too. If you go to the link tree, you can find the t-shirts, you can find the GoFundMe, and you can find any events that we're going to be holding as well. My Instagram handle is patford.dpt, and you can find me on Instagram as well. Mostly just, trying to shout out that Project Onyx life for the most part right now.
Yes.
Yeah, guys can check out what we're doing at Project Onyx and following us on Instagram, and just support us by even giving us a like and sharing what we're doing. We're building the diversity of our group. We accept everybody. You have to be a teenager for our youth program. 13, 14 to 18-ish, 19-ish. But we're really just trying to help anybody that comes from an underrepresented, underserved community, boys, girls, everything in between. So if you have somebody that fits in that age range and you think this is going to be something that's good for them, have them stop by, at least try it out once or twice. You're going to have a good time with the group that we have right now. So.
No, absolutely, man. You guys are the reasons why I do my push-ups and sit-ups every morning and every night. I'll just try to be like y'all.
Well, just hit up that Unorthodox Fitness 5 a.m. class.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate it, fellas, and I'm gonna have I'll have all of the links to the websites and the social media accounts and things like that. I'll have those in the description of the episode. I'll have them on the YouTube as well, to ensure that people know how to reach out to you guys. So I want to thank you guys again so much for connecting with me and recording this podcast with me. To add some transparency here to our listeners, this is actually our second attempt at recording this episode. We had a fantastic episode recorded, and due to some technical difficulties, we actually had to re-record. But I really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm just happy that I got to spend a little bit more time with you guys. So
For sure.
Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thanks for putting us on here, man. We really appreciate it.
No doubt.